Hey folks, Dave here. Now look, you don't need me to tell you about the thousands of Gulf Coast denizens in need due to the devastation by Hurricane Harvey. But I would like to remind you that while you may not live in those affected areas, you can help. There are a number of relief funds out there on the internet. They're just kind of everywhere. As for us, we'll have a link to the Red Cross donation page in this week's show notes for anyone who wants to donate with ease. Or you can just pop over to redcross.org. Thank you for supporting your fellow man, and please enjoy this episode of DC On Screen. Welcome into DC On Screen episode 424. This is your weekly news. I am your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason
Hello.
Goss. Kind of a lot of stuff happened, but not a lot of actual consequence this week.
No, there's a lot of stuff floating out there, but we'll see.
Alright, let's dive in. By the way, for anyone who didn't, before we dive in, we recorded a pretty great episode, I think, yesterday with Eli Oppelders of Stealing the Remote. Had a lot of fun, and we're going to probably post that midweek.
Sounds about right. Anyone who listens to both of them may notice that, like a recognizable, just latent pain in the back of Dave's voice because his back has decided to betray him again. If you're wondering, like, why does Dave sound weird? It's because his spine doesn't want to be there anymore.
People at work were like, "What did you do?" I said, "I bent down to get clothes out of the dryer."
And that was... Man, you take too many chances in life, man. You gotta slow down.
I know, man. I know.
It's a reckless lifestyle. Nevertheless, he perseveres.
Right. Nevertheless, I persist. Yeah. Anyway, jumping into Wonder Woman. Still kicking ass at the box office. Past Captain America Civil Wars. They're projected to pass Iron Man 3 today, domestically. We're recording on a Monday. $409 million domestically. In the top 20 highest grossing films of all time. Only the two Avengers movies and the two Batman films, Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, have been better. Performed better, I should say, I guess. Read what they wrote. This is all from comicbook.com. Now, it's earned over $800 million at the worldwide box office, which has been true for a couple of weeks. Twitter data is actually also saying that it's like it was the number one talked about film of the summer. So,
Didn't they do that for, I want to say, Deadpool last year?
yeah, I think so. But you know what? There's also, I guess, like WB is actually trying to get Wonder Woman into the Oscars as well.
It's got a better shot than
For Best Picture, I hear.
else. I mean, Best Picture is kind of a haughty expectation, but
Yeah.
to be in consideration is pretty big for any kind of superhero product.
I've seen worse. I've seen worse films win. You know.
Yeah.
So, which is part of the reason I don't really think the Oscars are really anything at all. But anyway, so Wonder Woman was released on digital, and they had this cool little epilogue, Etta's Mission. We talked about it last week, kind of. You haven't had a chance to see this, have you?
Have not.
I pre-ordered the Blu-ray, so I was just like, I'm not getting this on digital. I want the physical copy. But I did find someone, kindly recorded it on their camera phone and put it up on YouTube with no sound, and then I found a transcript.
So voila.
It really just equates to, like, it feels very much like just a little after-credit scene. Like, it really does. And I'll be honest, I'd rather they just put this in the movie at the, after the credits. But it's just Etta finds the guys in the bar, Chief Nappy and Charlie and Samir.
For 3 or 4 people whose names I do not remember to save my life, but I loved them all at the time.
Yeah, and she says, this is our first mission. It's top secret. They found something. We have to take it to the Americans. It's very old. It's very powerful. Blah blah blah. And she opens her little notebook, and it's a mother box. So I mean, there's more to it. They argue about what they're going to call their their little group there, Wonder Men and Charlie's Agents. But
I'm sure it's charming.
it is. It looks to be, as much as I could tell without having any sound.
Right. We'll let you verify that in a few weeks when your hard copy has arrived.
Yeah, but they did verify that Patty Jenkins directed the short. Lucy Davis said that they shot it about 6 months after they finished the movie, while reshoots were being done. So they could have totally put this in after the credits, and I think it would have been pretty great if they did, but whatever.
Not a huge deal.
Nah. So, someone named Joel Matheson was at the Warner Brothers Los Angeles studio tour, and he picked up an official LA Studios tour guide, and the guide talks about current projects, and they had some Justice League ads inside. And what do you suppose they had in there, man?
I don't know.
It's a picture of the old black and silver.
Mm-hmm.
They had a picture of Henry Cavill in his normal Superman suit, and then like next to it, they had like the black and silver Resurrection suit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone's been, over on the toy threads on Reddit, they've been, saying like, oh, Mattel just puts out variants. Nah, man, I've seen that black and silver. I saw like one of those like, I don't know, I think it's either Big Figs or Jakks Pacific, but it's like those really big action figures that they put out. And I was in Toys R Us a couple weeks ago, and they had Justice League, these big like 20, 30-inch Justice League figures, and one of them was a Superman with a black and silver suit.
Yeah, there have been a lot of hints in the toy factions that we might really see that suit.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently now it's on display over at Warner Brothers. Or about to be.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, they threw out they released a new picture from the Justice League. It's just Wonder Woman, Batman, and the Flash. It's a different angle of them looking off camera.
That's something that must be defeated.
It will probably be the show art.
Yeah.
Which is why I bring it up. The studio announced that in its fall movie preview, it listed Joss Whedon as one of the film's writers alongside Chris Terrio, a singular director though, that being Zack Snyder. But the story is by Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder, but the screenplay is by Terrio and Joss Whedon. And a lot of people have weighed in online as to what this means. It looks like it means probably Whedon. It means one of two things, pretty much, when you boil it down. It means either that Whedon did about 30% of the script, or, and this is probably more likely, I would think, since it has not gone into arbitration.
It will. I'm betting it will.
Not necessarily. They could have, like, Squadcast talked about this. Mark Hughes has talked about this. But there's a good chance that they just kind of threw Chris Terrio some more money and to get Joss Whedon on that script, and because no one, if none of the writers wants to go to arbitration over it, they can say whoever the hell they want wrote.
Yeah, if they want to, but there are a lot of guild guidelines for it. As it's written right now, a story by Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder means that the people who broke the story together in a room submitting the same script with a partnership in mind were Terrio and Snyder. And then when you go to screenplay by Chris Terrio and Joss Whedon, and it's and instead of ampersand, that means screenplay by Chris Terrio, and then Joss Whedon came on and wrote a significant enough amount of it that he's getting billing as being part of the and crew. Like it's tiered. Like whoever you see up top, screenplay by blah blah blah, and blah blah blah, and blah blah blah, and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's after arbitration when they've said, he did this part, he did this part. So it may mean in this case that Whedon's done enough that he's gonna be able to get into the writers' area, by the normal use of arbitration or WGA rules. But also, director Zack Snyder means that the Directors Guild rules stand. Like he completed 100% principal photography, so he's director. Period. There's no co-director for that kind of crap. That's what you got.
Yeah.
It's a neat article Dr. Steve sent me.
Now, Mark Hughes was on Superhero News, and he was saying, like, this is the dude from Forbes. He knows a whole bunch about all this stuff. He was saying, I think there's some confusion about what precisely Whedon has to do. What I heard, and by the way, Hughes is pretty reliable in his sources usually. What I heard is he's done roughly 24 or almost 24 pages of new material and rewrites. On top of that, there were a lot of scenes that were cut out. You know, Darkseid has been excised from more of the film, for one thing. There's scenes that have been cut and characters have been cut from the film. Don't take that as me saying Darkseid has been completely cut from the film, but I'm just saying things have been changed. Yes, it's fair to say he probably wrote a third of the script total. When you add the new pages he wrote, the rewrites that he wrote, the deletion of pages and scenes out of the movie, it probably amounts to enough to qualify for that 1/3. It's possible, but, you know, like I said, though, it is possible they just threw Terrio more money to give Whedon a writing credit and keep it out of arbitration. Yeah. But, yeah.
It is. And arbitration is just kind of it's a very regular thing, but you avoid it if you can, like any other extra step.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, especially if he's throwing in, like, it might be 12, 24 pages. We're talking about 12, 24 pages of what is likely a 110-page script. 120 at the outside. Like, they really don't like taking on scripts that are more than that amount of pages right now.
Yeah, but it's Snyder's, so it's probably 3 hours long.
I mean, it's not a Dan Aykroyd level script. It's going to be...
Those were 2 scripts, damn it. 2 scripts.
Yeah, if he's got
the
20
Blues
pages
Brothers
out
script
of
was
120,
scripts.
well, yeah, he probably deserves a writing credit. And the "and" means he came in after Terrio to do it. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Willem Dafoe was talking about James Wan on Aquaman, and I don't know, I found it somewhat, even though I'm not crazy about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, I found it somewhat interesting and hopeful. Willem Dafoe was talking to Collider, and specifically about James Wan. He says, Wan's enthusiasm reminds me very much of Sam Raimi's enthusiasm. When I made Spider-Man with Sam Raimi, one of the most impressive things was that it didn't feel like an industry film. It felt like a personal film. It felt like Sam Raimi was getting to fulfill a fantasy of his. He was so connected to that Spider-Man mythology that he really infused it with great love and great playfulness, and I loved that. James Wan is very similar. He really knows exactly what he wants, which is particularly a great asset when you're making a movie that's so technologically complicated. He can be very clear, and it's fun to play the game of having him give you an ask and trying to satisfy that ask. He gives you some things to play with and a good story. And, you know, that's coming from Willem Dafoe. Ludi Lin, or Ludi Lin, I don't know how you say it, he's playing Merc in a recent interview. He said that James Wan described his vision of Aquaman as Star Wars underwater. So that's pretty cool. I think that might be interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not getting
something
into
about
it,
people
but
losing a hand that's going to be thematic.
Yeah. I don't really want to get into it, but sources from no place that you've ever heard of are claiming that Ben Affleck isn't Batman again.
Yay!
Whatever.
It's Tuesday.
It's Monday, but yeah, it happens. Shazam pre-production has started officially, and dude, Sandberg is pretty fun. I've started following him on Instagram, and he put up a photo of like a filing cabinet with like a flat surface in an office, and it had 1 Coke can on it, and it said day 1. Day 2, there were 8 cans. And he says, on this movie, I might get to the ceiling or to the hospital.
Well done, sir.
On day 3, there were 12 cans. Day 4 had 13 cans. Day 5 had 16 cans with a Shazam action figure and a Tawny the Tiger and framed comics on the wall. But yeah, he said in an interview, pretty much going into Shazam right away. I mean, my life's just become so weird because I got to do Lights Out, and immediately afterward I got to do Annabelle, and now I'm going straight into Shazam. So it's like, I'm on a roll, so let's just keep going until they kick me out of Hollywood.
That is the best attitude.
He also said that shooting dates were probably going to be announced soon. He said it's coming up, and there's rumors that they're already in the casting process, so I don't know. Part of those rumors, though, about the casting process comes from a site that I automatically don't want to trust because of the name, Movie Hole. Why would you call your site Movie Hole?
Yeah.
Oh, but they've got all these rumors saying that the Flashpoint is gonna mess with Shazam. That the time-altering antics of the Flash in Flashpoint is going to affect everything, including Shazam. Which Shazam is scheduled to come out before Flashpoint, so I don't really know how that's going to happen, but whatever. Now, Variety's Ricardo Lopez put out this article that was... We'll get to a little more of it, I guess, later, but... put out this awful article about all the Joker origin stuff with Scorsese and stuff, and also threw in a bunch of other stuff. And I'm pretty sure this is old news that didn't take. But as the article says, as the studio has labored to distinguish itself from Marvel, it has been actively entertaining pitches from directors around the world. The likes of James Wan and Robert Zemeckis have made the trek to Burbank to sell the studio on their vision for the spandex set. All right, well, I'm pretty sure we reported... Well, I mean, James Wan is working on Aquaman, so I don't know what he's pitching. But... Or maybe that's what he's pitching. I don't know. But Robert Zemeckis was said to have been in talks to have something to do with The Flash a long time ago. And then said, oh, no. And then it was said, like, no, he's probably not going to be able to do that. I mean, I would love it if he did Flashpoint. That would be great. I like Robert Zemeckis a great deal. I don't think this is news, though. I don't think this is, like, current.
No, it's not current or future. Like, it's just... one of those many points where we're just gonna have to wait a few months and see what actually happens.
Now, this is also one of the things that calls into question the validity of this report by Mr. Lopez. He continues, or take the case of Joss Whedon. The Buffy the Vampire Slayer creator is now developing a Batgirl movie for DC. It's one that the studio hadn't planned on doing until Whedon confessed to them his love of Barbara Gordon and her masked alter ego. Okay, I watched a video a few weeks ago of Joss Whedon, and we reported on it, of Joss Whedon saying, I was in a meeting working on another project with Warner Brothers, and I looked at the board, and they had Batgirl written up there, and I go, oh, are you guys serious? I love Batgirl. And they were like, yeah, we're serious. So clearly they had some idea that they were going to be doing Batgirl. Yeah, but they're just trying to make a point that, like, all these people are going to DC and trying to do stuff on this new banner, and people are freaking out about it on Facebook, and I'm kind of annoyed by it.
You're right.
So again, new rumors, deadline now, but it hasn't been made official that Warner Brothers and DC are talking to Gerard Johnstone to polish up the script for Justice League Dark, which contradicts earlier reports that they were just unpleased with it and didn't want it. They wanted to start over, but whatever, guys.
There had been some reports that they just kind of wanted to burn the thing down and start again. The page one rewrite, the dreaded page one.
Right. Over to Joker Origins, because why not? Joe Rogan, and this seems pretty legit at this point. The Joe Rogan Experience, is that what it's called? The podcast. He did an interview with Brendan Schaub, is a former MMA fighter who is friends with Todd Phillips' agent. And Todd Phillips is the person who did The Hangover. They're talking about him being the director for this Joker Origins movie. And they asked him about it, and he says, my boy, Todd Feldman, that's the agent, put this together with Todd Phillips. It's dark. It's like a dark Joker. As a kid, he had a permanent smile, and everybody made fun of him. It's like on the streets of Brooklyn. It's super dark and real. So, I guess that's really a thing that's happening to some degree. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, something being in development doesn't mean it's going to happen. And based on this, I don't want to see a Joker origin. I really don't. I love the idea of the Elseworlds, but I don't really want to see Joker origins. I don't want to see his origin.
You've said it before. It's the one origin you never actually care to see. The idea of it being multiple choice is kind of more grand than actually knowing what his story is, or his name even. People have said that about Wolverine, because they would throw flashbacks in and they would contradict each other, and some of those were false memories, and it was always like. But I feel like they teased that enough that, like, I'm glad I actually know Wolverine's origin at this point.
Like, I'm like, oh, that's good. That's a good thing that I know that. Because it doesn't affect it. He's still just a little badass. I don't care. Joker, though, I kind of don't want to know where he actually came from.
As an agent of chaos, it's almost more fun to not know.
Yeah.
But
Now,
we'll see.
I swear, man, people like Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, I used to think they were pretty reputable, but the more they, like, you really know what they're doing. You really know, you see the character of an organization when there isn't much news. Because Hollywood Reporter, Ken Masters, and Boris Kitt are saying that their sources say that Warner Brothers is, as they say, Warner Brothers will make an ambitious attempt to use Martin Scorsese to bring Leonardo DiCaprio into the world of comic book movies. Certainly, Scorsese's involvement in the Joker film, which the Hangover filmmaker Todd Phillips would direct, could elevate and diversify the film's contributions to the genre, creating the potential to make awards-worthy films such as Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy. And, the headline is, very, Warner Brothers courting Leonardo DiCaprio, and people are freaking out because they think he's going to play the Joker.
Right.
Now, in the article, though, they admit there is no offer for DiCaprio.
No, nor is Scorsese signed.
Scorsese's deal to produce is not done. No,
yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, no, this is... I mean, it's a neat mental experiment, but it's nothing yet.
Yeah. Now, they're also claiming and they're reporting that Jared Leto, and I would believe this, Jared Leto is said to have made his displeasure with the notion of multiple Jokers known to his CAA agents and rival agency WME has been using the concern to court him. And reps for Warner Brothers DiCaprio, Leto, and Scorsese declined to comment.
Why not?
This is all bullshit right now,
I
guys.
would completely agree with him, though. My instinct is if you're playing a character and someone wants to say, I'm going to do another version of this character while you're doing it, my instinct would be like, hell no.
Right?
Back
that
the
seems
fuck
weird.
up.
So it looks like it's at least in development, but from that Joe Rogan experience.
Yeah, but it's also
interview.
The Joe Rogan experience is also very much him getting very high with a couple of people and talking about YouTube videos for 3 hours, which can range between some of the most entertaining stuff you've ever heard and walking away wondering if you should have a shower.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know.
Oh, man. Yeah, I've never actually listened to a full episode, I don't think. Maybe I have.
It seems to average about 3.5 hours an episode, so.
Oh. Yeah, no, I've never listened to a full episode then.
I've barely ever done
listened to
anything in
clips on
my
YouTube.
life that was worth 3.5 hours. It is very difficult for me to focus on anything for that many hours, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway. So Justin Kroll is reporting that the Suicide Squad 2 is apparently the Suicide Squad 2. I'm like 60. Suicide Squad 2 is delayed because of Will Smith's schedule with Aladdin. He's playing the genie, and Gemini Man. I've seen a couple of different iterations of that. Actually, Gemini Man seems pretty cool. It's reported that that's going to be like an Ang Lee movie, and he's going to be playing an assassin battling his younger clone. I'm down for that. I don't really care about him playing the genie in Aladdin.
I've had my Aladdin. It was great back when I was a kid, and I got nothing to add to it.
Especially not directed by Guy Ritchie.
I don't even want to compare it. I just like for me, this is a done deal. We shouldn't be doing it. I'm good with the Aladdin I had. Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Suicide Squad 2 is going to be pushed back till fall 2018. Which isn't terrible. Remember that little documentary thing, or not a documentary, it's a biopic of Professor Marston and the Wonder Women. It has been announced that it's going to be in limited release October 13th, before going into the full October 27th. Release date of October 27th. So
it still looks pretty neat. I have to see.
Yeah. So this isn't really much. This is really news, but it's awesome. I don't know how you say it. Jay Baruchel, guy from Undeclared. He's in a bunch of Judd Apatow stuff. He was on Happy, Sad, Confused with Josh Horowitz, and he was talking about Justice League Mortal, the George Miller movie that almost happened. Apparently it got really close to happening. But he talked about Wonder Woman. The first time you see her, he says, the first time you see Wonder Woman, the opening scene on Themyscira is just her on top of a steed, and she's about half a kilometer away from a Minotaur. The Minotaur's got a battle axe, and she just rushes him. All the Amazons are there cheering her on as she beheads him. She gets off her steed and holds up the Minotaur thing, and doesn't say a thing. It's like, that's the Wonder Woman I want to see. It would have been special. He also said it was very nearly ready to go. He says they had all the costume design, they had all the previs, they had all of the sort of production design figured out, and they would take us and walk us through this command center where they had everything. The aesthetic choices that they were making in the story and the character choices they were making are so ballsy, and we won't ever see it. He also talks about a scene with his character, Maxwell Lord. He says there's a scene where Maxwell Lord brainwashes Clark, and all of a sudden this guy's got Superman as a weapon. But in order for me to do this, to get into a Kryptonian brain, I start bleeding out of every effing orifice because it takes that much to get into the head of a Kryptonian. And then I turn him Red-Eye, Superman, and then there's a big-ass fight between him and Wonder Woman where he breaks her wrists.
Wow.
He says, I die halfway through the movie and my consciousness is uploaded into this mainframe, an evil computer. I would pay real money to see this.
Yeah, that's a property I'd like. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds
really
awesome.
It does.
Probably be decried as too dark.
I don't know. I mean, halfway through, he has to get his neck snapped. I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah. Well. All right. So that does it for our movie side of the news. If you're not following us over into the DC TV side of things, you can find us on DC On Screen. Us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. DCOnScreen@gmail.com. Or you can call us 205-259-6331. Leave us a voicemail. No one left us a voicemail this week except for the Witter Woman, and we'll be playing that at the end of the show. So, we're jumping over into TV news. Did you watch this Gotham promo, man?
I watched one, but I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Go ahead.
Well, this one had, like, the Scarecrow in it, but it also had, like, Bruce in suit. Like, it had him with a mask and all, and, like, a hood. And, actually, I put links in the show notes, if you want to click on those, that the first one should have pictures of it, at least. Because people are bitching about it and talking about how bad it looks. I just think it looks like Christian Bale's mask from the Dark Knight trilogy. Which, to be fair, I think kind of looked bad. But no reason for you guys to be yelling about, young Bruce wearing this thing.
I'm going to look it up in the background.
Okay. Now, also, Gotham cast Professor Pig. They cast Michael Cerveris, how do you say that? From Fringe and The Good Wife as Professor Pig. And that's actually the most excited I've been about Professor Pig, like, ever. Because I like that dude as, like, the main, like, observer from Fringe.
Yeah. Also, I did just watch the costume. It's not that egregious. He's not supposed to be Batman yet.
No,
he's just,
no.
Playing with some costumes.
But that mask totally looks like Christian Bale's mask.
The second one does. The first one
ears.
kind of looks... I don't know. The first one looks more Bruce Timmey, more straightforward. Kind of a pointed nose, cheeks back a little bit. Obviously, they were going to play with the styles of young Bruce here.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Gotham is going to return September 21st at 9/8 Central. It's the...
I think it's our first
airing in this new Thursday night spot.
It's the first of these that will return to us.
Yeah. like the bit on In Living Color. Just like push it right back. Like, oh no, not you, little fish. You go back in the ocean. So John Wesley Shipp was at Dragon Con, and he told fans that if they want to see the old 1990s Flash costume again, if you want to see it, tweet it. So start tweeting people, everybody, because of course we want to see John Wesley Shipp playing the old Flash again.
They'll find a way.
It's a multiverse, baby. Let's do this.
They'll find a way.
Now, CW executives were revealed apparently that starting soon, CW's Arrowverse shows, along with some others, will be joining Hulu's live TV service. It's a service that's currently in beta mode, and it's going to offer live streaming and cloud storage for select channels and shows. No word on whether episodes will still be streaming next day on CW's website, but I imagine they will.
It's a good bet, but
that's like that's post live, you know. This is just live TV on Hulu.
Yeah, most likely. It's just
an avenue to get rid of cable.
Yeah, but some of the contracts are a little convoluted right now, so it's not for sure. But yeah, it's a good bet.
Mm-hmm. So they released this so-called super trailer for all 4 CW shows, which, by the way, had footage from previous seasons in it. Let's not kid ourselves here. But saw some stuff with Alex and Maggie, some stuff with she's in a car. They're in a car. It's real exciting stuff. And I
think it's an extension of the scene we'd seen earlier.
Yeah, Cat Grant taking questions from the White House press room.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that means. So Supergirl is apparently going to have a lot of little tweaks and changes. Like I read a whole thing where Melissa Benoist was talking about her character was going to be like, "Who am I? Identity issues, blah," leaning heavily into the Supergirl side of things, I guess. But and that Wynn was going to have more responsibilities. But he didn't, Jeremy Johnson said he didn't really know what was going on other than the fact that he was yelling at people a lot now. So
that sounds great, though.
Yeah. But apparently Andrew Kreisberg is saying Lena and Kara's friendship will continue to grow. There's a lot of Lena-Kara adventures early on this season. Katie McGrath has also mentioned that Lena will do something very big in the season 3 premiere to win back her friend Kara. So who knows? And something very big. I don't know what that means.
We'll see where that goes.
Like, buy her coffee
or an espresso
Cupcakes.
machine. She has the money. Just throw her the machine.
Right.
Maybe a 1-year supply.
Yeah. Tom Welling is talking about his new role on Lucifer. Actually, he's talking less about his new role and more about his old role. He says, "I definitely don't want to play Clark Kent again." The great thing about Clark is he didn't know who he was, and he didn't know what he was supposed to do with what he had and his abilities. This character very much knows what he's capable of, and knows what he wants to do, and knows how to do it. So as much fun as that is to play, it wasn't necessarily because of Clark Kent I chose this character. It was so many more factors than just, I don't want to play Clark Kent again. But I'd be lying if I was saying that I do not enjoy playing something very different for sure. He'll be playing Mason Pierce on Lucifer this year. I'm excited to see Tom Welling back.
I actually am.
Now, Lucifer is going to be airing in its new slot of 8/7 Central on October 2nd. This is a new time for him. It's going to be on Mondays now. Well, it was already on Mondays, but it's going to be up an hour in the old Gotham spot. Over to The Flash, Andrew Kreisberg was teasing some of Harrison Wells' story for Season 4. He says he's a genius and his daughter is safe, and she's the Flash on Earth too, and he's one of those people who's realizing that he doesn't have a life. Season 4 for Harry is really realizing what he's been missing in his life, and what it is he needs to become a better, more complete person. And so he's going to be going on a fairly epic, emotional journey this season that is tied to the Thinker's plan. That's fine. Dude, honestly, I'd watch Tom Cavanaugh eat cereal.
Yeah, the old thing about, read the phone book. Yeah, I'd probably watch him do it.
Yeah, he'd probably have some fun with it. Now, over on Legends, according to Macy Richardson Sellers, who plays Vixen, she says, "It feels so fresh, almost like a new show. Here's hoping." Now, she also says, "The same way Season 2 felt like a new show from Season 1. Oh, so not at all. Cool." She says, "I'm excited to see how that translates to the screen." Or how it exactly presented itself
that way, and yet didn't end up being that way.
She also said, we go to some really fun time periods and see some really cool historical figures and characters from folklore and world renown from our history, and we've got a team of new supervillains that are really exciting. The playful edginess gets amplified, and it's fun and silly, but there are also some very emotional moments." Told me nothing.
Yeah, good luck.
Told me nothing, Macy.
I mean, really, best of luck. I hope that all happens.
Courtney Ford has been cast as Eleanor Dark, Damien Dark's daughter. She'll be played by Courtney Ford from Dexter, True Blood, and Parenthood, who is actually married to Brandon Routh in real life. Eleanor will be a charming, manipulative, and engaging presence, much like her father. Ray Palmer will find himself attracted to her, even though she's on the wrong side. That sounds utterly freaking
Predictable?
typical of this show. Yeah.
And again, let's hope they do it better than some of the times we've seen them do it before.
Yeah. By the way, they aired that Vixen movie on CW. Combined all of their Vixen footage, sprinkled in some producer interviews to create a network premiere movie for CWC's animated Vixen series, and it flopped freaking hard, guys. It pulled in less than 700,000 viewers and helped sink CW viewership down to 7th place for the night. Don't know if that means anything for the character or the animated series, but I wouldn't expect Vixen to be filling any new Wednesday night gap anytime soon. That's bad.
That's really bad. Yeah. It's that hurt a little bit to even read about.
I mean, why would you put it on TV after it's been on the internet, all this time? I don't know. It's just.
I mean, I recall like Sunday afternoon network premiere of Lethal Weapon 2 or something. Yeah,
right.
it was the first time it's ever been shown on network television. This did not. No, it didn't follow.
Yeah. No.
I understand the history. This didn't work.
Yeah. So we're starting to get some character hints about Michael Emerson over on Arrow. Wendy Miracle says this character that we're having Michael play is somewhat similar to people he has played in the past, but we had many conversations with him about how to make it different and what elements we could bring to the character to change it up. Guggenheim pops in and says, we've seen some dailies for some of his episodes and he's just fantastic. He's a really understated, subtle actor, and that brings a different energy on set. It's great. Michael Emerson is absolutely a great actor.
Yeah.
I have high hopes.
That at least. I do like the idea that he's bringing like this different, subtle kind of energy on. Yeah, nothing about that is disappointing. I like everything I just heard.
Yeah. Did you ever see him on Fallon reading Little Boy Blue? They like dim the lights and he's holding it a little. He's holding the book.
No, I saw
like,
one of those and I thought
creepy.
I should like reach out and protect every child in my neighborhood. Just like every child, just put them in a bunker and keep them away from Michael Emerson. It was very creepy.
Yeah, his little bug eyes. Little boy blue, go blow your horn.
I do recall that. I had a sudden paternal instinct that I didn't know about.
All right, so they've been doing some. Well, they've been working over on Teen Titans. They've casted some people. Apparently, they're rumored to be eyeing Alan Richardson, whatever. He was Aquaman on Smallville, and Rebecca Rittenhouse from the Mindy Project for Hawk and Dove, which is kind of cool. I like the idea that they're doing those characters. Molly, or Dove's character, her call sheet reads: recurring female, 25 to 30, open ethnicity, graceful, master fighting machine. She straddles the world of being a thrill-seeking and do-gooding vigilante, along with being her crime-fighting partner's emotional anchor and caregiver. She loves him, but fears what he's become.
Sounds right.
All right. Now they also cast Nightwing. They cast Brenton Thwaites as Nightwing. Jeff Johns says Dick Grayson is one of the most important and iconic heroes in the DC universe, and it was not easy to find him, but we have. Brenton has the emotional depth, heart, danger, and physical presence of Batman's former protege and the Titans' future leader, which makes it sound like he's not really Nightwing yet. Kind of.
It has.
We're extremely lucky. Yeah. We're extremely lucky he's chosen to bring his talents to this project and this character. Fan reaction has been largely positive. Some fans started Google has charts, but some fans started immediately looking for evidence as to whether Thwaites' butt is thick enough to play the iconic character.
That's the world we live in. That's what we deal with.
I'll admit, after I saw the headline that said that people were like, "Is Brenton Thwaites butt? Is it good enough to be Nightwing?" I looked it up, and I deem it suitable.
Not plenty AF or thick AF, just suitable.
Not thick Apple Farm, but it was a shelf. It had a bit of a shelf to it.
Shelf-like quality.
Not a lot. Not a lot. Like you could, those little sample cologne bottles that you get in the mail. You could maybe put one of those on
or something.
Yeah, the little vial, You could maybe balance one of those on top, but I wouldn't. Not a Coke can or anything
Champagne,
like that.
Nothing like that. Yeah.
No.
I did not know there was this much attention.
You'd have to be angled appropriately
to Nightwing's ass until this was groundbreaking for me.
I didn't realize it either.
It's just a whole new world, man. A whole new world. But
a new exciting point of view. Back to the Aladdin reference.
A whole new world. Yeah, I didn't know about all this, but good to know the world just has new things to throw at you.
Yeah, absolutely. These are exciting times. Oh man. Kevin Conroy, I guess, felt compelled to explain himself for why he returned for Batman and Harley Quinn. He says, "The fact that it was going to feature Harley Quinn was really unusual, and I loved that. She's the 4th most popular animated character now, and the audience loves her. She's crazy. So to do a film with Batman and Harley Quinn, I thought that would be a blast. That was the primary draw, and I knew there would be humor in it. It's always fun to play different aspects of a character, and I don't get to explore the humorous side of Batman very often. He's very dark. He's a very dark-rooted, grounded guy. To be able to play humorous scenes with Melissa Rauch was a lot of fun." So, I mean, I get it. I get why he would go back for that. In hopes of something.
I understand. I just maintain that it didn't work, and I'll move on.
Yep. By the way, Scott from Squadcast told us, like, and Brent too, like, they were like, "Oh man, it was spot on, your review. It can only be seen as a parody.
At best.
It can only be enjoyed as a parody, and even that sucks,
It's either a bad parody or a terrible continuation.
Yeah. So this week also saw the release of Black Manta's Injustice 2 gameplay trailer. I thought it looked pretty cool. For someone who's not playing the game, I thought it looked pretty cool. I think all of it looks pretty cool.
It does. It looks pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of gameplay happening there where a lot of these people look like badasses. What are you gonna do? It looks cool.
Mm-hmm. Jim Lee, put out, like, people were freaking out because he put out some concept art for Raiden, and the fans were not having it, man. They were. I mean, it's rare for Jim, but nobody liked that shit. I saw it, and I was like, yeah, it's bad, but I can't remember a Raiden design that wasn't bad. Like,
you talking about including the Mortal Kombat 1 kind of situation?
Well, like, I liked the movie with Christopher Lambert. Like, I liked his designs, and I liked that actor too. Like, I liked him as Raiden, and I liked those designs, but they were just kind of robes.
He does just look like a guy with a weird hat that has some electrical skills. In this version, I don't think it's any more egregious. It's just, hilariously enough, it looks like Jim Lee put out, because I know he can do so much more than this artistically. It's like he put out kind of like, hey, this is like a place saver version of what we're doing with the character. We're just gonna electricize him up a little bit, and this is gonna be a lot of fun, and blah blah blah. And then the internet just kind of went, "Why are you doing that at all?" And fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, he's got like these, like, I don't know, they're like rock boots that have like lions' paws on the end of them, that are blue. And like this like weird tattered cape. It was just weird. It was just a weird design.
On that, just like his arms are supposed to be electrified, I guess, but they look like. And I keep looking at that image and thinking, come on, Jim Lee he sketches better than that.
Well, I mean, when you're just talking about like a rough, like, I got to get this done character design, you're really focusing more on the design elements in the costume than you are making it look badass. So I'm fine with that, because pretty much almost every like loose character design work you've ever seen is gonna look kind of like that.
Just
It's just that the costume was bad. The design was bad.
yeah, a little bit.
I would almost rather Raiden just
like,
be
the
like
actual
made
shots
of
I've
complete
seen,
energy at this point.
Of him on the game look like better colored. It seems like it's going to be a different situation. I don't know. I'm just surprised a little bit by the backlash of what looks like Jim Lee taking either 14 or 16 seconds out to draw a thing, and then getting hell thrown back at him.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've liked exactly one Raiden design, and that was from the movie, the first one. And it wasn't even an inspired design. It was just, doing
the best with the materials they had.
Yeah, I mean, but Mortal Kombat has never been known for their designs. I mean, shit, they made one guy, and then they just like changed his color a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Like, yep, that's half our cast. They all
Looking
like Sub-Zero with different
there was
colors.
a lot of thankfulness that a lot of their players are basically shirtless. So this is going to work out really well.
Like, what do we do for Liu Kang?
Orange pants, just
shirtless Asian
we'll
guy.
fine.
Like, all right, he's shirtless and he's got MC Hammer pants. All right. Now, Johnny Cage, shirtless white guy with MC Hammer pants. Oh, and he's got sunglasses because he's an actor.
What about Sonya? Same thing.
That being said, I played the hell out of some Mortal Kombat.
Tank top.
Yeah, but that's all that said. I have played the hell out of some Mortal Kombat in my time, so
I'm sure.
I got nothing.
Sure. No, I do completely agree though with the overall disagreement that this is a DC game and what are we doing. I gotta agree. There's a lot of players you could have spent that much time on. You didn't have to pull on Mortal Kombat people.
Yeah, I mean, where do you want to draw the line? I mean, you've got a bunch of DC people.
Honestly, I would have been okay with drawing the line at the first time they ever did that and saying, like, come on, I love Scorpion too, but it just, but why?
Well, my point is, though, is like, yes, absolutely, I do want those slots to be filled by DC characters. Yes, I do absolutely want to see Spawn and Hellboy. Like, I kind of do. Like, I really absolutely do. That said, though, I think it would be better if they didn't really do those so much as create the possibility for that in, like, a create a character section. You know what I mean? Like, where you can just create your own Hellboy.
Yeah, no.
But then I like the create a wrestler, create a character, create a fighter, whatever the hell you call it. I like those. I like that element. Like, in fighter games, that's just the most fun to me. Like, I don't even play the game. I'll just sit there and make characters all day.
No, that is a lot of trouble, though. I understand why you don't like focus on that.
I wish somebody would make a full game of just that. Like, no characters are in the game.
Just
They're... Give me like 100 movesets for...
No seed characters whatsoever. Just design your own thing, and here's a basic set of rules, and here's a sword, and good luck. We'll be giving you some upgrade packs, some DLCs with other swords or guns, depending on the voting, frankly.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, that could be really cool. Like, if they just threw in, like, size constraints and, like, basic shape constraints and gave you, like, a huge amount of options with weaponry and different types of fighting styles and stuff. And then they could it could be like Lego Dimensions, where they, like, open up licensing deals with different franchises with different IPs, and like, as you update and buy more packs, you get like the DC pack, and you just get a bunch of logos and like hoods and shit, cowls, capes, whatever. And like they can just do it that way. You can have like a proper like Marvel versus DC. You can have
get a properly desperate Universal pack of the Mummy and Frankenstein and Dracula.
Absolutely. I will not rest until Batman fights the Andy Griffith Show characters. Opie with a slingshot fighting the Batman?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. We just got some listener feedback. This is fun. Andrew Getsy, we read a bunch of his stuff last week, and he was responding to us on Twitter in real time as he was listening. And he said, OMG, you said my name on a podcast. It's pronounced Getsy, because I said Gexy, I think. And he said, but thanks. And then he says, oh, me twice. Thanks for putting Wicker Women at the end. And if Barrowman can magically appear in Shadows of Arrow Cave, he can still be alive. I'm not saying he can't be alive still in some way. I'm just saying he shouldn't be, because death needs to matter.
Yeah.
And they're using time travel on these shows too, to be like, oh well, yeah, Damien Dark's dead, but he's in the past. And I'm like, but that's still taking away the impact of the death.
Yeah, no. Death has to actually matter. I have to look back and not be embarrassed that I cared about a moment a few months ago, or a year ago, or 2 years ago.
It's like, well, yeah, Malcolm is in the future. We've got Malcolm running around in different timelines because they grabbed him out of the past. And I'm like, but I'm still seeing him every week.
Right.
Like, it's ostensibly doesn't matter. It's just a reset button. It's like, see, this is like the worst possible thing, because you can have him every week, but without any of the character development, because he can't know about his own future, and he can't go and like pick up where his past self left off, because his past self is really his future self. So really, you just have like, you just have like a big reset button where nothing can actually happen with that character. It's just annoying.
Or if you break some of the time laws, you have him like in a place where he can readjust things. It was because it was an interim period kind of situation, and then you get into all kinds of weirdness that's it's even harder to make amends for than it's just easier when characters die, even in time travel. You can respect
and you know what, I enjoy Snart, I enjoy Captain Cold a lot, and I'm really excited about him coming back, but really only for Mick, because of Mick's
development.
Yeah, because of his like reaction to it is going to be good. So, whatever. So Andrew Getsy also says, I've watched Doctor Who and Torchwood and like everything geeky, and oh shit, now a third of my messages. I was not expecting this. And he says, I wasn't asking for individual episodes of everything, just asking for one weekly recap and one weekly news show. Heck, skip the news show. No. I know, I understand. I think we both understood what he was asking for. One episode with all the recaps. It's just that with the scheduling, it's going to be impossible to do that because of how they're putting it out now. If that makes sense. It's just really, it's going to be hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it's
with
just
all of the shows on a weekly basis now.
It's just physically hard to do it the way they're doing it now. They backlogged a few things. So it got ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And he finishes up, says, I'm here for the recaps. Sorry, man. We'll do them at the mid-season or end of the season. That's what we'll do. Anyway, had I known you'd respond so much to me, I'd ask you to plug my 99 Geek site and podcast, I'm a Fiction Writer. I haven't had a chance to... Well, there's your plug, by the way. I haven't had a chance to listen to it or check it out yet. I've been busy. But I actually do plan on checking it out and seeing what that's about. So that's all I've got, except for the Witter Women, and they're going to be after the credits. Or the Witter Woman. It's just one this time.
Well, it's narrowed itself down. All right, well, shall we let it lie there?
Yeah, I think so. We are DC On Screen. You can find us at DC On Screen on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Email us at dconscreen@gmail.com, or you can call us, be like the Witter Woman, call us and leave us a voicemail, 205-259-6331. And sometime in midweek we'll have a bonus episode where we talk about DC films we'd love to see, and we do that with Eli Ophelders of Stealing the Remote, and it is pretty fun. I had a lot of time, a lot of fun. I had a lot of time too. It was like a 3-hour episode.
Kind of a lot of fun time with that time.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah. Seriously, though, you guys have got to check out Stealing the Remote. It is pretty phenomenal. It is my favorite podcast right now. Eli and her mother, Patricia, review movies. And Eli's mother, these are mostly all movies that Eli's mother does not, would not choose to watch. hence the stealing the remote.
It is a generational anomaly.
On the 10th episode, Patricia did steal the remote from Eli this time. So, it was good stuff. I enjoyed it. We'll be back, I guess, with that crossover episode. And then we'll be back again with more news. Until next time, guys, keep some DC on your screen.
Well, Cletus done. He may be only 3 feet tall, but he ain't nobody's fool. And he said that all them people on there didn't like the old Wither woman. Well, I know people don't like to look at old Wither women, and it reminds them of what's coming for them down the road. Let me tell you, but I'll be all right. I just got me an old crust of bread and some water, and don't you worry about the old Wither woman none, 'cause she'll be all right. I've got through the depression eating goat spleens and liverwurst and cow's tongues, and I've been through worse than having to be told that I shouldn't. Poor old Wither woman just trying to call her favorite show so she could not feel so alone. And well, it's all right. You get used to being lonely when you're an old Wither woman, so I won't bother you no more. And I hope you have everything that you ever wanted in this world, 'cause good Lord knows I ain't got it in mine. Well, my bowels are running off again. I gotta go out to the outhouse. And, well, I hope I got me an extra corn cob out there. Oh, Lord, I gotta go. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Oh, Wither woman, don't be so sad. I felt bad about this after I listened to it.
Been there. Also, I did respect the wrapping it up, and it did seem graceful. There's something to that.
Well, it's not because of the Wither woman necessarily, but whoever's doing the Wither woman, you're doing something. You're creating something.
Because we all do.
I've done that enough. I don't want to discourage anyone. I've laughed about half the time at the Wither woman or the Wither women.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, seriously, and I say this in all honesty, I don't want to discourage anything or anyone from doing something like this. I enjoyed Wither woman from time to time. About half the time, that is quite a voice, and I think it's got a lot of potential. And I think you should continue it somewhere. If you want to keep sending it in, we'll post it at the end of the show, because we actually have people who like it. But I don't know. It might be a character you might need to work on. Whoever's doing it, because that does have potential, I think. So, and if the statement about us being your favorite podcast is true, thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
If it's just part of the character, I guess thank the character.
Sure.
Bless you, Wither woman. Enjoy your crust of bread. All right, that's it.